first, let's get into this crazy thing that just happened that no one expect, which is that Alex Garland, the director of freaking 28 Days Later, freaking Annihilation. I mean, who's on a crazy cinema run right now, is apparently in the runs for directing a Elden Ring movie. Am I am
Yeah,
I am I right about that?
yeah, it was crazy. It was rumored, and I was like, "There's no way." I mean, like Alex Garland with A24 with Elden Ring, like that. There's just no way, and they officially confirmed that yeah, it's happening. Like it's actually gonna be a thing. And originally, Alex Garland announced he was gonna retire after Civil War. That was his last movie he was ever gonna do,
Interesting take.
essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like interesting that he's coming back, and I hope it's not for the money because that's my fear. But also too, like like if he actually takes this project seriously, which I feel like he is,
Yeah.
I think we could like have something really special, and it could also be up there on like the echelons of like great video game adaptations. Honestly, like if I'm being real,
So
but
a live action Elden Ring movie is in the works from Ex Machina and Civil War director. If you don't know who Alex Garland is, he did Ex Machina, Civil War. He also did Annihilation, right?
yeah, yeah,
He
he
did
did
he did that
Annihilation.
movie Man, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Right now he wrote the most recent movie in the series of the 28 Days Later. I think it's like 28 Years Later or something like that. He wrote it, didn't
Mhm.
direct it. But Alex Garland is a well. I mean, he's super good at what he does. His movies are always great. And I'm getting the idea that he's a fan of games. If you didn't know, this movie is also going to be produced by George R. Martin, who helped with the original Elden Ring game. So this is, I mean, this is a dub for the players, bro. And recently, we've actually been seeing a lot of game adaptation movies come to life and be likable. Mario, what was some other ones? Last of Us TV show, Fallout. Like these are things that's happening right now. It used to be where like Assassin's Creed or Mortal Kombat came out and it was literal dog water. I don't even know what dog water
Yeah.
is, but it was something terrible. So
I
I
like
don't know about
I
you, but
like
that's a W for
yeah.
us, bro. Because we got good stories out here, and people be like, "Oh, y'all are kids playing games," and no, we got good stories out here.
Yeah, Alex Garland is I think he's a great choice. He has a pretty interesting career. He did a interview with GQ like a month ago. If you are familiar with him or aren't, I definitely would recommend it because he kind of does like the timeline of all of his movies that he's written, directed. But he is a writer first. You know, he started as a novelist that evolved into writing screenplays. You know, that's how he wrote like 28 Days Later, adapted his novel The Beach, Sunshine. You know, these are a lot of Danny Boyle movies, Danny Boyle directed movies.
Hmm.
And then he went on to start directing his own things, which is what led into writing, directing Ex Machina, adapting Annihilation from the novel, then Civil War, and then he did announce that he was going to stop directing, but then pretty much immediately after Warfare, he co-directed, co-wrote, which has gotten critical acclaim as well, it seems. And I like the fact that he does seem to be a writer first and foremost. And if you're going to tackle something like this, I'm always at the opinion of screenplay first, have a great
Mm.
story, script, deliver on what fans will want, adapt it well to the big screen from a video game. You know, that's the biggest hurdle I think that all these video game adaptations face is it doesn't quite live up to what the video game was.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's someone that would appreciate the work and do justice to it. And yeah, I feel like with him, it's in good hands. I'm
Yeah.
very curious to see. And A24 are doing it, if I'm not mistaken, which is very interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not the
actually.
company I would expect.
Yeah. Like they're I mean, just like I said before, like they don't really do projects like these. Like they take like these independent films and they produce them or they publish them and such and whatnot. But like something like this, I was shocked. I was like, this is something I would expect like either Universal or Paramount or like maybe Apple TV doing or something like that. So you're right on the money, Chris. So
That was super well put, Chris. And I didn't even consider the fact that he's a writer first. And to speak on the A24 thing real quick, I know that I read an article a year or so ago where A24 said method of producing these independent films has kind of been a business model since the beginning, but they're trying to switch recently where they want to make more franchises because I mean, to be honest, look, like how many movies can you make that don't make enough money before the studio closes down? It's like A24 knows that they got to transition. And I know the Backrooms is another series that's going to be made, and it's like, okay, cool, like here we go, like A24. If they can rein in their greatest directors, and Alex Garland being one of them because he directed a lot of movies through A24, it's like if they can rein in those directors and put them on these franchises, or like let them do what they want with franchises that they already love, then we might have another great studio on our hands. Which love. Look, we've seen some pretty decent blockbusters from A24 that still have that artistic twang to it. Uh, so I think that Alex Garland is going to be a great director. I mean, Warfare I heard was like you said, I heard Warfare was amazing, and so he's proven himself to be consistent. I was going to say though, like I actually never played Elden Ring because I don't have the time or the emotional resolve to do boss battles. But I
Yeah.
know that the games has exponentially exponential lore that apparently is really deep and really good that it never
Oh
that
yeah.
got kind of overshadowed because of the boss battles.
Yeah. I mean, I played, I mean, I beat it and everything. And something that From Software does really well with like a lot of their games, other than like making them extremely difficult, because they all are extremely difficult. I actually have a friend that got so stressed out that he doesn't even like play any of the games anymore because he just like can't handle it and such. But the thing about like, a lot of their like Souls like games, like that's like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne. There was another one like Two Souls or something, or Seku. It was like that Japanese like game that took place in like feudal
Yeah,
Japan and
yeah,
such. That game, and then Elden Ring. And something interesting about all those games, other than their high difficulty, is the fact that like they don't tell their stories in a traditional sense. Like you almost have to like figure out like what actually happened in the world and such by just talking to like all these NPCs, because they don't really give you the story. Like they don't like spoon feed you the story like other games do. Like honestly, a good 90% of other games do. But like these games really, you have to like do your research as like, just like a normal person does, like talking to like you guys, figuring out like, oh, what happened like to so and so,
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
Basically, you have to do the same in like any of their games, which I love how they do that. Like, it's just incredible. Like, it's an interesting way of like doing stories. And with Alex Garland coming in to like craft like a film is going to be really interesting and such. So that's just my take.
And that's what I meant about the exponential part because like it's like I watched someone play the whole game because it's super fun to watch people play that game and rage quit, etc. It's awesome. And the
Yeah.
game looks amazing and the boss battles are always super dope looking. The villains and the enemies always look crazy diverse. And so I use the word exponential specifically because it's like once you find one piece of lore, then you find another one, and it's like at a rate that's exponential. You're like, oh, this game is actually way more detailed than you
Yeah.
thought. And you have these names of these bosses that sound very specific. Like what's one? What's that one boss that's like? I think it's a girl. It's like a girl, but she's like, I can't remember what her name is. But there's that. If you, I don't know if you guys are hip to that gamer who would like wear the pot on his head and just be naked with just underwear on and was like, do you know about this,
Uh, I kind of know about this. Like I, he's like a streamer too and
dude?
such. But like I know exactly who you're talking about
Yes.
now because I have seen like a bunch of his videos. But there's like I'm trying to think like which boss you're referring to, because there is one boss that's like extremely difficult because of their move patterns and such.
Hold on one
Like,
second.
oh, you're gonna pull it up? I
Yeah,
got
let's see. So what I'm talking about, if you don't know, Chris, is the one second. Let me pull it up here. Um, so there was this character. So there's this like co-op idea in Elden Ring where it's like you can co-op people into the world that you're in. And they can help you with boss battles and stuff. Where there's this one guy, and I'm going to pull it up here in a second. The people listening definitely know. Um, let's see, co-op. I'm trying to remember his name. He has a name. He was what was so specific was that he would wear almost no armor.
Yep.
And so I mean, like your armor and your move sets are like the core of your experience in the game and how you can defeat enemies. He would co-op into people's game and with no armor, just like a basic weapon, and would just like beat the hardest boss for them. And people were like, "Yo, he's because he was so good at the game that he didn't need any of the extra stuff." Let me find it real quick. I think it's Relina. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's the people that they're like. She's always very difficult. It was Relina or something? I can't remember. But what he would
She's
do
in like
specifically was they would go up and there's a co-op portal thing that people can come through. This guy would come through, and if you saw him, he was like a living legend of co-op, and no one knew who he was at first, and he started streaming or something later. But he'd come in. His character was naked except for like underwear, and he had like a basic weapon, and he would solo the boss for you so you can beat her. And dude, it was crazy. I just thought that like little stuff like that, like there's lore in the game, and there's also lore created by the characters. It's like the legend
yeah,
of I gotta find his name, dude. Hold on, let's
yeah.
see.
No, I know exactly who you're talking about. I just don't
Sounds
know.
like the bad guy from the Warcraft episode of South Park.
Yeah,
Running around in underwear.
yeah,
If you know, you know.
yeah. Chris, I feel like we bring that episode up quite a bit. Like whenever we're like hell diving, it's like a staple for us, man. Like,
Ooh,
just want to point
Yeah.
that out. Bless you, bro.
thank you. Hold on 1 second. I
Oh,
got
no, you're good.
allergies right now, dude.
Nah, you good.
Sweet. All right, cool. I can't find the dude's name, but you guys know. Leave a comment if you see it and you're like, "Yo, he was a legend. He had a name. I think he was like Zero Armor. It was some crazy. It was super dope. But yeah, Alex Garland. I hope he includes some little like tidbits for us to like get into. Like, oh yeah, I remember that piece of lore. You know what I mean in the game, and he definitely will. I mean, it's George R. R. Martin producing it as well. Like he's going to. First of all, George R. R. Martin, bro. Like, how old is he? Like 108 or something?
I mean, one would suspect that,
107,
but
108, yeah.
yeah, I would say 190 by now because I mean that
He's
man has written a page a year. Just wanted to say that a page a year, just to point that out there. So
Is he actually? You're not kidding. Is he actually 100 something?
no,
Oh,
no,
okay. I was making a
he's
joke.
probably like yeah, no.
Oh, I thought Chris
He's
convinced me. I was like,
In
yeah.
his- in it- I think he's in
Yeah.
his 70s, though. I think he's
76.
getting
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
good for him, bro.
like yeah, dude. Nah, he's still mobile and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but
And if there's a writer, author who creates amazing lore, there you go. You
yeah.
know, like
Facts.
yeah,
he literally has just books about the lore when
Yep.
it comes to like A Song of Fire and Ice.
yeah,
So
like
yeah, he's a great. I could see why this is something he had created or helped. I don't know if he created it.
He's producing
he
it.
wrote it. He actually wrote like the main scenario and like all the lore and stuff. That's what he did for it. Which yeah, no, he is like a lore master. He literally wrote Fire and Blood. That's a Targaryen book based
Whoa.
off of like A Song of Ice and Fire and
Whoa.
stuff, which has become its own show, House of the Dragon. So yeah, dude.
Love that show, by the way.